everyone. I'm Mark Rosenbaum, professor of marketing and captain at the Citadel Military College of South Carolina. I'm a visiting professor of services marketing here at the American Hotel Academy, teaching third year students services marketing. The goal of this week is to understand how to design services. So, when we build a home, we have a blueprint. When we want to create a service, and this could be in hospitality, it could be in food and beverage, could also be in healthcare. We have to move patients and guests and clients through a system from the moment that they click to Google to do a search to the moment they approach a hotel, getting them through the hotel experience, getting them back, and also emailing them and getting them back to your properties. All of this has to be designed. And this is a great career called service design. Um, Many people don't know the term services marketing. And I often say, what if we called the class customer experience management or guest experience management? Because really what we're trying to do is to design how a guest approaches, uses, and ultimately comes back to a hotel. Students have to realize when I say the word services marketing, again, many people may not understand it, but global economies are based on services, whether it's hospitality, banking, finance, healthcare, insurance, transportation, food and beverage, entertainment. We live and work in a service economy. So, understanding how we work with customers, it's very different because many customers buy services like entertainment, like a hotel stay, to get an experience. How do you manage something that you can't necessarily touch? Let me give you an example. Here's a can of Coke. We could touch it, we could see it, we can taste it. But how do you do that with a hotel? What is a hotel stay? So you have to sell a service differently than you do a product because it's more about the experience than it is about something that customers can actually touch. One of the skills that I teach students is called customer journey mapping. And what you do is you think of all the pre purchase touch points that a customer can have with an organization. So pre-purchase is all the digital moments, going to a website, going to Google, clicking on every link, getting information about a hotel, about a hospital, about a food and beverage restaurant. And then we design all of the touch points that a customer experiences when they're in the hotel. And then we design all the touch points to get the customer back into the hotel. All of this is called customer journey mapping. And we visualize the entire experience. And that's the key to management is to manage touch points. I often tell students, if you were a film director, movies are created scene by scene. It's lights, camera, action. Musicians create great music note by note, but every note has to be perfect. So a service manager has to understand every touch point. How does a customer move through a system? And then understanding how marketing, human resources, operations, information technology, how all of these functions work at each touch point. So a great hotel manager is like a film director. It's like a film producer. You've got to understand scene by scene how marketing, human resources, operations, and IT come together. And that's what students in my course learn. You may not have to be an IT expert. You may not be an operations expert, but you have to understand how a business operates at every single touch point. I've been teaching services marketing for 25 years, almost a quarter of a century. And I've watched education dramatically change. Today, my course is completely different than it was. Thank goodness it's completely different than it was 25 years ago. Because today, it's concept, theory, AI. So I have artificial intelligence integrated throughout my lecture. Students have to become prompt engineers. Not only do students have to earn a degree, not only do you study marketing or service marketing or hotel management, but you have to understand prompt engineering. So yesterday, when I was in class, I taught my students how to become prompt engineers. The assignments that used to take a semester. So, for example, I would have students create a marketing plan over a 15-week semester, 120 hours now can be produced in an hour and 15 minutes with artificial intelligence. I'm teaching students how to work with AI, how to manage AI so that they become more effective managers. Many people think that AI will replace the human. Well, in some cases, there are now robots serving as bartenders. There's robots serving as waiters. There's robots serving as chatbots, answering customer questions. But that's not what I'm teaching students to do. I'm teaching students to be general managers, and they can understand their business by using AI and using it as a tool. So, for example, a typical assignment may be to understand a customer experience for a typical customer. But then I have students use AI to take it to the next level. How does that experience change if a customer has a physical disability? How does that experience change if a child is autistic? You know, it's very interesting. 18% of US citizens have some type of neurological issue that impacts them in service environments, whether it's being autistic or being maybe having English as a second language or having a skill that can limit their ability to function in a service environment. AI can help managers understand how a customer with a unique need or accommodation has to what how their expectations change during a service. So AI helps managers understand their customers at a level and a depthness that was impossible years ago. And even if it was possible years ago, we would have to hire consultants or we would have to take so much time to study. Now the knowledge is at our fingertips. We simply have to be prompt engineers to understand how to manage our businesses with AI. I think the future for hospitality, including food and beverage, is incredibly strong. If we look at how consumers are spending money, we're seeing a slowdown in luxury spending. It's no longer about what you own, it's about what you do. Customers, as consumers, are spending money on experiences. If people have to choose between buying a new outfit or traveling, what we're seeing now is forget the outfit. I could wear last year's clothing. Let's go abroad. Let's have an experience. And I think that people are looking at life differently. They want to travel. So the future of hospitality is incredibly strong. If we look at the educational process or learning about hospitality, I think that in the future, students are going to have to learn to work with technology, how to work with robots, how to work with AI to become better managers, more effective managers, and to understand how chatbots and AI can be used to personalize a tourist experience, personalize a guest experience. And again, what we're seeing now is AI is changing today. In fact, I'm creating lectures brand new because AI is changing. So I quickly have to think about the theory, the framework, and then I have to design the prompt. And I think that in the future, managers are going to have to think, how can they work wiser using technology? How could they blend robots and AI into the guest experience to create a better experience, a better hotel? So I've been a visiting professor at AHA since 2009. What I enjoy about AHA and what makes AHA so unique is that students have to engage in two internships. Students get real world experience. When you come here, there's a sample kitchen, there's there's real equipment. I often find that many hospitality programs, especially in the US, are simply too theoretical. You can't learn hospitality from a textbook. You can learn some theories. I'm not completely discounting theories, but you learn hospitality by doing hospitality. And I see AHA as a perfect blend of education, real world experience, and practical skills. This is what makes AHA so strong. And this is why I've been affiliated with the program since 2009. It's real world training. In my course, I want to teach students how to design a business, how to visualize the customer experience. In fact, in the US, the course that I teach is actually called Customer Experience Management. Maybe in the future, instead of services marketing, I could see the course being called Guest Experience, because that's ultimately what we're doing. But the term experience, what is an experience? It's intangible. So my course is designed to make it tangible. How to create the blueprints, how to create the design, how to visualize exactly what the customer is experiencing. So that's the joy of teaching here is I know my class is going to be used by students who are going into the real world. My advice to students is to always study what you enjoy. If you enjoy travel, if you enjoy hospitality, if you enjoy serving guests, what a great career. Because ultimately, you want to work should be enjoyment, work should be pleasure. And if you enjoy what you're doing, it's never really work. And I think that the best hospitality student is a student who's passionate about travel. You're passionate about wine. You're passionate about tourism. You're passionate about having customers have a great experience. That's the student that will thrive in this industry. Those that truly enjoy seeing their role in making another guest happy.